Okay, here we are on topic 5, and we're going to work with some square root equations, or squared equations that we're going to need to square root. So when you were in 6th grade, you did a problem such as x plus 3 equals 10. And even though you could do that in your head, your teacher said, no, you need to show your work. And you said the opposite of adding was subtracting. Whatever you do to the left, you have to do to the right, and you got the answer of 7. You did that last year. You might have forgot, but that's okay. So you used inverse operation. We're going to use inverse operation here. This is a square. The opposite of squaring is square root, and whatever I do to the left, I do to the right. We did this problem on warm up, and a lot of us thought the answer was 10. That's such a common thought process. And 10's right, but it's not the only answer. It's 10 and negative 10. The reason for that is because this problem started off with a square in it. And whenever we square a number, it becomes a positive. Both of these work. If we try this, negative 10 squared, it gives us 100. And if we try positive 10 squared, it gives us 100. So when the problem starts off with a square in it, that's when we're going to have the two solutions. It doesn't have to do with the square root. And this is where things get a little bit confusing. The square root of 100 is 10. But what numbers, when you square them, get you 100? Both 10 and negative 10. It has to do with the fact that this was squared in the beginning. So this gets a little bit confusing of when you have both answers and when you have only one. Don't feel bad if it's a little confusing for you. We'll get there. And I'm actually not going to test you on this right here. Okay, next one is a fraction. Fractions always freak kids out, but we just need to square root. Whatever we do to the left, we do to the right. So we have the square root of 4 and the square root of 25. And so the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 25 is 5. And then we need to realize that we could also have this number. We only want the negative once. You can put it on the top or the middle. It doesn't matter. So when you do your homework set, you're going to enter both of these answers separated by a comma. Both of those and both of those. Continuing on our backup video in case technology goes bad, the base of the square box has an area of 100. So here's the bottom of it. We're just looking at the base, and it is 100 inches squared. So it's 100 square inches. What are the dimensions of the base? Well, if there's 100 here, area of a square is base times height, and that equals 100. And if it's a square, both of these are the same. So that really is saying what number squared gives us 100. And, well, let's see. Would it be 10 and negative 10? Can length be negative? No. So even though this is our problem, and our answers would be both positive 10 and negative 10, when we're in the area of area, we're talking about lengths, and lengths cannot be negative. So all you need is the positive answer. Why? Because in the real world application, you can't have a length of being negative. So if this was 10 centimeters, 10 inches by 10 inches, the area would be 100. You can't have negative 10 inches. Direction can be negative, but not length. And then you're going to summarize that down here. Direction can be negative, but a length cannot be negative. Backup video done. Pause and rewatch this as much as you need to.